What's up, y'all? Jason Earl here from the Marinade, and I am coming at you at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Had a pretty eventful morning so far. Got up pretty early, just basically with the sun, which has been my practice lately, especially since I haven't been drinking. This is day 10 that I haven't had a drink. I'm having a hot water this morning after some coffee and a Topo Chico. Feeling great. And, if you've been following this young sobriety journey. I still don't know. I don't have like a timetable on it. I don't. Maybe it's forever. Maybe it's just for maybe today I have a drink. I don't think so. I don't have a desire to. But I've been thinking about that a lot, and then I've also been thinking about just the importance of taking time to just sit and deal with things. I think one of my coping mechanisms, especially when things are tough, and it's been a really difficult 3 years for me, going back to May of 2022. Things have been pretty challenging for me. I mean, as Jason Isbell says, compared to folks a stone's throw away from here, my life is relatively easy, but I've had a lot of challenges in the last 3 years. And it feels like just now, I mean, really in the last 10 days, have I been able to kind of catch my breath and process a lot of really complicated challenges that I've been facing over the last 3 years. So I'm grateful for that, and it's allowed me space to process. And I think that's what I'm kind of marinating on the most today, is the idea of like, I don't take enough time to just sit, and part of that, and just be in the present and not feel like I have to do something. I mean, hell, right now I'm recording a live video, right? Like, um and I always forget this. I've only done this a few times, I guess, but I keep forgetting to like invite people to this live stream. Just me talking to myself, because we're not in a routine yet, but I do want to get in a routine. And that being said, I also would like to get to, I'd like to work on, and I have been working on, I should say, not like to, I have been working on spending a day just having no agenda, right? So today is that day. It's okay if I get stuff done on a day that I don't have an agenda. I don't have to not do anything, but I don't want to uh, set out like one day a week. I want to set out with no set plan. Um, and today, the only thing I do have one thing on the agenda, but I don't think it counts. I have my pups. You saw Conundrum walk in to the room. I have joint custody of my dogs. People think we're crazy, and maybe we are, but my ex and I share custody of the dogs. We raised them together, and then we broke up, and now she has them during the week, and I have them on the weekends. Unless there's a scheduling conflict, in which case the other person takes them, of course, if one of us is out of town or something like that. So on the weekends, I try to spend it basically the whole weekend with my dogs if possible, unless something else comes up. I mean, I still live my life. I still go to shows, and I'll go to a sporting event or any other kind of hang out with friends or whatever that doesn't involve the dogs. But if possible, I like to bring the dogs everywhere I go. So we're going to go to a park later. I'm actually going to do some research on said park here in just a minute, to decide, like, I've taken them, I feel like, everywhere. So I got to find a new place, right? That they might really dig. New smells, new sights, new sounds. And I'm excited for that, because it's really good medicine for all three of us. The dogs love it, of course, and it's healthy for them, especially Conundrum. He's a hound dog, so he needs to be out, in the wilderness, smelling smells, and out in the woods and that kind of thing. So I've taken him to a bunch of different places over the years, and I'm going to try to find someplace new if possible. If not, there's plenty of go-tos here in Central Florida that that we all love. And um, so that's the only thing though that I have on my agenda is I want to take the dogs for a little outing. And other than that, um, my plan is to come back here. See, I already have an agenda, right? I have a plan. No, but seriously, come back here, sit by the pool and read a little bit. I'm almost done with this biography that's not sitting next to me of Jason Molina that I've really enjoyed. Molina looms large in my life as a creative influence, especially with my music, the songs that I write. Half the time I'm ripping off him and or Will Johnson. Uh, Probably my two biggest influences for the fact that so often there's no they just are pushing so many boundaries. That makes me sound like I'm some kind of like visionary or something. That's not what I mean because I'm like I said, I'm kind of ripping them off. But I think the fact that they're not like beholden to a specific structure in their songs. Part of that with me is just I'm not good enough at the structure part, right? I'm not a good enough musician. I can write, but I'm not a good enough musician to like stick to a lot of the structural things that are expected from a song, especially like a hit song. I don't write choruses very often. Probably, well, maybe half the time I write a chorus, and half the time I don't. And that's what I love about Molina is like you'll get a record that has a chorus on every song, and then you'll get a record that there are no choruses. So that's an inspiration to me. And I'm reading that book, and I'm almost done with it. I only have like 30 pages left. I just keep plowing through it, really devouring it, and enjoying every second of it. But I've had this stack of books for months, and usually I'm a voracious reader, but I got caught up on Barbara Kingsolver's Demon Copperhead, which is a great book. It's just real dense, and I was just going through like stuff that I've quit my day job and I have this clear head of sobriety. I've just been thinking a lot about like I was in the muck more than I realized. It's interesting how important perspective is. We talk about it a lot on the Marinade, but how like on my podcast, the Marinade with Jason Earl, how it's important to get to find that perspective, to get out of the muck. When you're in the muck, sometimes you don't realize it, right? You're the frog in the kettle, to use the cliche. And I think I've been the frog in the kettle for a little while. Um, Especially when it comes to education in Florida in the current political climate. I'm wearing my Governor Who shirt. This is a reference, if you're not familiar, to Joe Biden was asked about one of Ron DeSantis' stunts where he was sending immigrants to sanctuary cities. He was kidnapping people, is what he was doing, and sending them to against their will to other states, Massachusetts, California, places like that, on taxpayer dime. Just an absurd scandal that just in the in the age of Trump and DeSantis, we don't think about as a scandal. I mean, that should have ruined his political career. He should have ended up in jail. It's just crazy what we've come to accept and what we forget about. I mean, I bet those of you listening or watching, even if you're in Florida, you may have forgotten about that or didn't know about it. And if you're somewhere else, you may not have known about it. It was when he was running for president, which was hilarious, by the way. I mean, as much as I hate Trump, to see DeSantis, his little whiny baby behind, get his ass kicked like that was really nice, little bitch. Um, so his public education policies have made it really difficult, and the rhetoric, like he's fired up people so much about how evil education is and how teachers are grooming and all this bullshit that's might be happening in places, but it's not some sort of epidemic like he makes it out to be. And it's certainly not okay that teachers are considered so what's the word we are treated like enemies. I mean, that's how we're being treated by parents these days. And it's I never thought I knew it was possible we would get there. I always thought that authoritarianism was very possible. I just didn't see it coming in the way that it did. But if you studied history at all, or read as many dystopian novels as I have, um, I'm not shocked by Trump and DeSantis. I'm surprised by the package that it came in and the way that it has come about. But I didn't mean this to be a political rant. I meant to say that I found myself in the muck and unfortunately feeling the pressures of the political realities of an anti-education movement in this country. And now that I've quit my day job, and I may go back to teaching, I'd like to go back to teaching, quite honestly, in the right under the right circumstances, and I've applied to quite a few teaching jobs. But now that I'm out of it and I have some perspective on things, um, I realized just how much it was wearing on me, how much the day to day was wearing on me, even in ways that 10 years ago it wasn't. Um, and so, I'm glad that I have time right now to sit with things. Now, that said, all week last week, I gave myself 2 weeks to kind of just do nothing. And then all week last week, I just worked. I was just like getting up. If you watch the last couple of videos, getting up, applying for jobs, um, uh, working on creative work in the afternoon, just from like 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. Go, 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 go. Take a break for lunch, take a break for dinner, and then work. And I have no complaints about that. It was really nice, in fact, to do so. But today, I need to relax. I forget what day it was. It was Wednesday. On Tuesday, I went to the Orlando Magic game, play the song, Go Magic. They won, got the 7th seed in the NBA playoffs, all good things. And I went with my dear friend Jen Ross, and we had a blast. And that got me to bed a little bit later than normal because I came home amped. And anyway, I slept in the next day till like 9 or 10, something like that. So the whole day was altered as a result. But what I realized in the moment was just how hard I'd been going, just working, 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 working. And it helped me to realize that like I need to be faithful to having that day off, where like today, which is today, where I don't do anything, because tomorrow I have a podcast taping. Plus, I really need to finish my Steve Poltz episode, and I'm excited to work on that episode. But today, I've got to recharge my batteries. I've got to get to a place where I am relaxing, resting, not working out, right? I'm going to take the weekends not to work out. I worked out all week. Take the weekends not to work out, not to run, not that we are going to go for a long walk. We already went for another long walk this morning. Whatever. Get off my back. That's not exercise. That's just going for a walk. I mean, it is exercise, but you know what I mean. It's not working out. It's just getting out in nature and enjoying my pups and enjoying this beautiful day. It is gorgeous here in Orlando. One of the many things that keeps me in Florida is this weather. It should heat up next week, but for right now, I mean, the high's like 81 or 2 today. It's been the 60s all morning, like t-shirt and pants this morning on the walk. I'm going to be in shorts and a short sleeve shirt on our jaunt this afternoon. Absolutely perfect days every day for the last like 2 weeks. So I've had the windows open for several days. That doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. It's been really, really nice. I feel really good. And I'm excited to do nothing, to finish this book. I will finish it today, which is cool because I have a couple other books on the way. When I went in December, I went up to, or I drove out to Little Rock, Arkansas to see Mike Cooley of the Mighty Drive-By Truckers play solo. Mike hardly ever makes it to Florida solo. I'd never seen him solo. I got a chance to meet him, which was really cool. Got a poster, got the poster sign, t-shirt. It was a cool experience. And it was a solo road trip. And that's a long way from here to there. It's like 14 hours, something like that one way. So good medicine getting all the way out there and back, because I had to reckon with a lot of things and think about stuff, and got to see the country, places, parts of the country that I either had never seen or I hadn't seen in a long time. And on the way back, I stopped in Oxford, Mississippi, which is a city I love, but I hadn't been to in probably 20 years. I mean, in college, we used to go up there when I was at the University of Florida. We would go up to see Florida and Ole Miss play. And I just hadn't been probably since then. I think I stopped in there once on a road trip with my ex when we were going out to Kansas City. I'm pretty sure we stopped in there. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, now that I'm thinking about it. There was some other occasion where I ended up in Oxford. But anyway, there's a famous bookstore there, the name of which escapes me. So I'm going to Google that right now because I cannot remember and I don't want to leave it like that. But there's a famous bookstore in Oxford. Oxford's a very literary town, and a beautiful, beautiful little town. Oh, wrong Oxford. In Oxford, Mississippi. Square Books. Square Books is the name of the place. Really, really cool spot. It's the first thing that pops up if you Google it. But Square Books. Let me drop that in the chat and see if this will stay. If you're watching this in the future, check out Square Books sometime. A lot of authors, famous authors, will stop through there and sign editions. So, like, you're going to find, like, William Faulkner's probably best associated with Oxford, Mississippi. John Grisham, in a contemporary vein, is I don't know if he's from there, but he's certainly like the resident famous author, and there's signed editions of his books everywhere. I picked up a signed edition of House of Bone and Rain by Gabino Iglesias. I've been trying to get Gabino on the show forever. If anybody knows him or has a contact with him, get me in touch with him, please. I'm going to read that beautiful book, hardcover, that I picked up, and then and autographed, and then I picked up a hardcover copy of the new Haruki Murakami book, and Murakami's new book is called The City and Its Uncertain Walls. The City and Its Uncertain Walls. So I'm going to drop I guess I'll drop the link to bookshop.org to both of those. If you're not familiar with bookshop.org, it is this wonderful website where you can buy books online instead of lining Jeff Bezos's pockets, and they raise money for local bookstores. So Murakami, City and Its Uncertain Walls. Here's the hardcover. So there's a link to that. Murakami novel. And then Gabino is, if you don't know Gabino's work, you probably know Murakami if you're watching this. It's my guess. If you don't, check out all his books. Colorless Tsuro Tazaki. Oh my gosh, let's go ahead and make sure that we get that title right too. Colorless and His Pilgrimage of Years. Colorless Tsuro Tazaki and His Pilgrimage of Years is a great, great book. What I talk about when I talk about running is a great book. It's his book about creativity. And I wrote an essay and talked on here about walking and the influence that has on my creative process. For him, it's running. Running helps me too, but that's more of a mental and physical thing than it is a creative thing for me. But those books I highly recommend. And then Gabino Iglesias's House of Bone and Rain I have not read, so I'm not endorsing it, although I'm sure it's great. The Devil Takes You Home is another book of his that I loved. Coyote Songs is another book of his that I loved. Um, and it's horror though, and it's really brutal horror. So if that's not your thing, just note that. He pushes a lot of boundaries. He writes in Spanish sometimes. My Spanish is pretty rough, but I take the time to look up as much as I can and or much as I need to. Also, if you don't speak Spanish, it doesn't really take away, as long as you're open minded, it doesn't take away from the story. But there's some really intense moments, and I like horror because I'm terrified of death, and I like horror because it like fictional horror because it helps me um, to process things through a fictional lens, so it doesn't feel real. Death and the macabre in real life freaks me out. Whereas if it's fiction, I can like detach from it, and it helps me to process the realities of mortality in this world, this physical world. So I love Gabino's work. Murakami, I love, and I'm excited to dive into those. So I think I'm gonna do Murakami next after I finish this Molina book today, and then I'm gonna read Gabino's book. I've also been reading. I have a subscription to The Atlantic. I think print media is really important, and I don't think it's dead. And I refuse to give up on it. I think it probably will have a resurgence. I'm not a great visionary. I'm often wrong about technology and what ends up happening, but I do think we're headed toward, if not societal collapse, certainly the collapse of the American empire. And when that happens, um, we're going to need print. Um, we're going to need it. And so I've been thinking about that a lot, and I've been thinking about physical media a lot. Um, I'm a huge physical media fan. If you follow me and my show at all, you know that. I got some pitches from some publicists for some potential guests. This is Jesse Daniel Edwards, who's been on the show before. This record came out earlier this year, and I just like sat in my inbox and I totally forgot about it. So I'm going to listen to that and hopefully get him on the show again. If you're watching this and you're the person who commented on my episode with him on YouTube, thank you. That episode is several years old, and it makes me so happy that people are listening to it all these years later, and that you're connecting with it. And thank you for the thoughtful feedback too. Anna Tivel's record that came out last year, I listened to a couple of times and then just forgot about it. So I burned a CD of that, and I'm going to listen to it when I take the pups to the park. There's this record from Matt Anderson, y'all. Matt and I are going to sit down on Thursday. This record comes out later this year. It's called The Hammer and the Rose. He is an incredible singer, absolutely beautiful songs, and I'm really excited. He's Canadian, really excited to talk to him. And then Milena Casado, Spanish trumpet player. This Is My Hair. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. She is Black, and she grew up in Spain and endured quite a bit of racism, from what I understand. So I am looking forward to listening to that and then diving into her story a little bit more. And I might end up having her on the show. We'll see. But I'm going to try to get Anna Tivel for sure. I've been trying to get her for years, and I'm going to make a push now that I have time. Jesse again would be great. Matt Anderson, we have scheduled, and then we'll see about this. This Is My Hair record. I do love trumpet. Kind of quick funny story. I'm going to go see the Cincinnati Reds, my beloved Cincinnati Reds, and the Miami Marlins play baseball on Tuesday. And as I do, I was doing a bunch of research on the stadium. I've never been down there. I love Major League ballparks, and I was excited. I'm excited to check it out. And as I was looking at the rules, it says musical instruments are not only allowed, they are encouraged. And then it gives a specific list of musical instruments you can bring into the stadium. And some of them I didn't even recognize. They're Latin American sounding names. So some sort of percussion kind of thing, I think, because maracas were on there and tambourines and things like that. You can bring bongos in, apparently. So that kind of stuff you can bring into the stadium, which I think is just lovely, and I hope people do. But it's all these percussion instruments, and then the last one is trumpet. So apparently, if you would like to, you can bring a trumpet into a Miami Marlins baseball game, and I don't know, hold court playing, Miles Davis tunes. I don't know what I'm sure it's probably tapping into the Latin American culture of Miami, which is awesome. I hope there's like folks with trumpets all over the stadium playing trio music or something. I don't know. But I'm excited for that, and I'll keep you updated on it and all the other goings on. So thank you for spending your morning with me, or whenever you happen to be watching this. Until next time, go out and create something. Cheers, y'all.